Good morning. It's about 8 o'clock on Friday, March 29th, 2024. This is, of course, I think it's called the Holy Week. Easter's on Sunday. And so today my thoughts turn to the events that happened in the garden and on the cross. So today is the day that after the Last Supper, Jesus is arrested and put on false trial for crimes that he never committed. Anyway, let's look at the cows. The grass here is okay. I don't think it's as good as the past sections. I'm thinking I'm going to be pushing the cows a little bit here. Whether or not that's too hard remains to be seen. But I looked at the wire. I didn't see that they grazed under the wire at all. So hopefully it's going to be enough grass. I wanted to find that cow with that lump on the shoulder. Here's 20 with the missing skin and missing fur. Hopefully that'll grow back soon. All right, let's find that cow. Where is she? I know that she doesn't have a tag. So she's one of the first calves born on this pasture. There she is. Oh, I want to look at your left side. Lots of clover here, lots of big clover. So the clover is growing really well. I'll show you that in a second. There's that lump. Let me zoom in so you guys can give it a closer look. And here's the clover I was talking about. Look at that clover. Look at how big that is. Here's my foot for comparison. I'm a big guy too. I'm over 6 feet tall, so those aren't small boots. I had a weird dream last night that I was walking through the pasture and somebody was explaining to me all the different plants and what they do. And then I woke up, I couldn't remember anything. But he was excited about the different plants that were in my pasture. And he was just like, this thing does that, it restores this. And there's some hairy vetch there. Looks like the leaves make like a ladder. You know, there's not as much hairy vetch out here as there was in previous rows. There's this stuff too. It looks like parsley. A little bit. I don't know what it is, but yeah. And then I got these broadleaf grass. Is that Dallas grass? Probably is Dallas grass. Anyway, let's do some more looking into the health of the cows by looking at their manure. A commentator said, "Hey, I really like that you do the daily things." Yeah, one of the things I really like about the farming channels on YouTube is they give lots of good information. But the problem is oftentimes that information is condensed. And so guys like me that are new to this, like this is my third year of doing this. I was a programmer before this. Understanding the day-to-day stuff, just the basics that anybody who's lived around cows wouldn't even think of telling anybody, because of course everybody knows this about cows. You know, somebody asked the question. They said, "Hey, do only bulls have horns?" And if you know cows, that question on its face is just silly. It doesn't even compute. It's like, why would you think that only bulls have horns, right? The answer is because that's how they're portrayed in popular media. You know, growing up watching Looney Tunes and different shows, they show the bulls in Spain there during that festival, right? And the matadors, you know, those bulls all have horns, you know. And then the cows, you know, the cows that we see have all been polled, you know. The farmers here in America that are raising cows, they don't like horns. These patties are looking tremendously good. It was runny yesterday, but now it seems like it's a lot better. It's more firm. So, and I'm checking now the field to see if they overgrazed. So I'm looking for two things. Number one, I'm looking for, is there lots of grass that they missed? And the answer to that is yes. Looking for three things. The third thing I'm looking for is, did they graze around old paddies? And the closer they graze to those old paddies, the more pressure they have, because there's not a lot of good grass. But the second thing that I was going to say was, did they take 2 bites? And the way that I tell that is I find like one of these stands, like here. Like this was probably a stand of grass that was like a foot high. The answer here is yes, they did. They took 2 bites. I can see because here's 1 bite, and then down lower is the second bite. So there's 1 bite, there's 2 bites. So yeah, I had the feeling last night when I moved the cows, I'm like, you know, they're probably hungry. They're probably not getting enough, and they're probably overgrazing a little bit. And so I kind of was debating whether to give them 2 sections or 1.5 sections or something like that, and just move them earlier to the next row. See here, they completely missed this. You know, so I don't think it's too bad. I think we're kind of on the cusp of bad things happening if I push them harder. If I gave them even less area, or more time on the same area. So, yeah. Not on my video, but on some other video, I think it was one of Greg Judy's video, somebody asked an important question. They said, I have 120 acres and I have like 40 cows or whatever, right? How much acres do I give them per day to rotate them? And the answer to that question is, you're thinking about the problem the wrong way. That's how I thought about the problem at first. And that was wrong. And I think a cow died because of it. Well, mostly because of my mismanagement, but also because I didn't understand the principle. I was looking at it the wrong way. I thought that acres and ground would give food to the cows, but that is not how it works. Acres can grow grass, and grass can feed the cows. But if there is no grass, there's no food. It doesn't matter how many acres you give them, they'll starve to death, right? So the right way to think about it, and what changed my thinking, was how much food do I have for the cows out on pasture, and how much do I give them every day? Okay. Then the natural inclination of the beginning rotational grazer, or at least my inclination, is to take your field and divide it up into logical units and figure out how many days you need for what, right? So in my case, I said, you know what, I'll do a 30-day rotation. So I take 60 acres, divide it up into 60 sections, because I'm doing twice daily moves, and that each section is an acre. And then it's just a matter of mathematics, like how do I arrange things, right? And that's the wrong way to think about it. That really is. Okay. Now, right now that I have grass, I'm saying I'm going to put them on a 6-week rotation. Okay. With the sheep also on a 6-week rotation following behind. What is this? Oh, that's a leaf. I thought it might be something bloody or something. It's just a leaf. So I thought, I'm right now I'm saying I have enough forage in my 60 acres that I can rotate them every 6 weeks, and they'll have plenty to eat, and the grass will have plenty of time to recover, right? Now, if I went to my pasture one day and all the grass is dead, it doesn't matter how I rotate, because there's no grass, right? So in that case, I basically have 2 options. The first option is to sell all the cows, and the second option is to feed the cows. What do I feed them? Well, you can feed them hay, which is probably the cheapest forage I have in my area, or you can feed them feed, like corn and things like that, okay? But either way, the cows have to eat, right? So that's the thing to think about, is they need food. Now, as I'm moving the cows, I'm not doing the Jim Garish recommendation, which is estimating how many days of forage you have and then seeing if you're right. What I'm doing is I'm sticking to a rotation schedule and I'm making sure that that's enough, right? If it's not enough, if I'm seeing signs that the cows are eating too much, then I go into emergency mode and I start coming up with plans to solve the problem. One plan to solve the problem is I rotate them quicker. Another plan is I start feeding them. Another plan is I tap into my emergency pasture once I run out of grass. Okay, so I have another 20 acres and I checked it a couple days ago. It looks really good. And if I run out of grass on pasture here in the 60 acres, then I can move them to the back 20 and they'll be good for a couple days. So that's what I'm thinking about. And that's what you should think about. What are the cows going to eat? That's the most important question. And then you watch what they eat and you look at the grass and see, are they eating too much or too little? Am I giving them too much ground or too little ground? And then you use that information to make your plans. So, all right, guys, have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.